Hello guys, long time no see. So today I've got a rare treat for you. I have a client of mine who's also a friend of mine who's been through my consultation service and had his hair transplant just over a year ago. And his results are incredible. And the reason they're incredible, I'm not banging my own drums, well, maybe a little bit. The reason they're incredible is because he followed my flawless consultation, step-by-step consultation system that takes men and women through the hair transplant journey. And this is why, thank the Lord, so far I have 100% success rate. So let's start from the beginning, and you want to pay close attention to the whole video. The first part, we talk about how he decided to have the hair transplant. He's not a young guy, he's in his 40s. So why now? Why pull the trigger now? Let's have a look. How's things?
Yeah, man, just chilling. It's chilling.
The hair is looking good.
No,
the bonnet is looking good.
I look
Wow.
Premier League.
How many months now? How many months in?
7 months now. This was in December.
So about 7 months. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really quick, because normally we say like
Yeah.
9 months. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back, because like
It's got a clapboard. We got a clapboard every time.
no. So let's go back to like a little bit of background about bald, when you started going bald, and kind of the history of, has he always been there, or it just came on when you turned a certain age? What happened?
Yeah, it turned on about my 30s, maybe early 30s. I just noticed a receding hairline, and
Okay.
mid 30s is getting more prominent. And
Before that, you had like nice full head of hair, no
head,
problems.
strong hairline, and had no worries. And because I think it really started showing in late 30s and early 40s, kind of
Okay.
like it never bothered me. Never
Okay.
sort of bothered me, you know, when you're a bit younger, a bit more self-conscious, but past that stage. And
Okay.
we got to a point where I thought people around me were getting it done. And I knew you at that point. We had a couple of discussions, and it was just becoming a bit popular, a bit mainstream now, even, right? Before it was quite niche, and you know, people were just talking about this treatment.
Yeah.
But now it's just so pervasive if you just search for it online. And so I thought, because it's there, and now it's in like a second, third iteration of its technology,
Yeah.
I thought, well, it must be good now. And I'm past the stage of really worrying about it if it goes wrong. So there's not much of a risk factor for me. So I just thought, let's do it, see what happens.
So you were kind of skeptical about it from the point you started to recede, say in your early 30s. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to share how old you were when you eventually had the procedure.
Yeah.
Or hush.
When I started, I wouldn't say it was skepticism. I was just indifferent to it happening. Like, it didn't bother me. But I got it done, and it wasn't like me thinking, oh, let's just bite the bullet and hope for the best. I just thought, well, it's got to be good now, right? Everybody's getting it done. Most footballers have it.
Mm.
My cousin had done it, and his father was just completely bored. And I've seen the evidence that it seems to be working. So in my mind, it wasn't like get it done and hope for the best. I could see that this was a proven technique.
Okay,
so
you said you were indifferent about it when you were kind of in your 30s. So what made you pull the trigger now and decide, apart from the fact that it seems to be working?
I think I got to an age where it was receding so much that it was just completely going thin on top, and there was nothing left for me to even comb. Well, you know what? Let's see let's just do this. I've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I think at that point it was a bit. I want to say, was I self-conscious? I don't know, but I'm just very happy with the results now. I'm glad I got it done.
Glad you got it done. Yeah. So I think it was about 2 years ago that you started to talk to me about possibility of a hair transplant.
Yeah.
So were you in research phase just for those 2 years, or you were kind of researching even before then?
No, it would have been just those 2 years. I never looked into it before. Like, for me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna get this done. Let's see what the options are. you know. So
Would you say like your research method was kind of haphazard, dipping in and out, leaving it for a while, coming back to it?
yeah, yeah, a bit of that, but I knew you knew your stuff, right? We'd known each other for a bit, but then, and I just knew that I could just trust your advice. And I think we had few conversations before I really got committed to it. And at that time, I was thinking, I'll just talk to you when it's time, get it done.
Okay, so you had that crutch. Imagine if I wasn't on the scene at all. Where would you have looked for advice and all that stuff?
Incidentally, my cousin went to the same clinic.
Of course, he had the unfair advantage of consulting with me, and I do have this consultation service that, as I said, so far, thank the Lord, has 100% success rate. If you want to be part of that service and apply to it, the link is below. It's not going to be cheap, so if you're expecting some cheap freebie, don't even bother clicking. But if you are serious about getting incredible hair transplant results that last you a lifetime, then the link is below, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay.
The one you recommended, so I guess I would have ended up in the same place.
Yeah, let's not mention the name of the clinic.
Really?
Let's not mention that. Okay, so your research process was quite straightforward. Did you like face any challenges when you were kind of doing research? Did you see stuff that made you think, okay, maybe this is not a good idea, or I'm a bit nervous about this? Anything that kind of made you put the brakes on, maybe?
No, I mean, I knew it was quite an invasive procedure, right? You go in through the skin to extract, create the channels and embed the new follicles. So I knew there was going to be blood and aesthetic, but I don't think I was really prepared for the soreness.
Cool, we'll come to that. We'll come into that, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the actual surgery itself. But before we talk about the surgery, let's talk about the process. One thing people really dislike is the back and forth with the clinics, the booking, the deposits, the paperwork, the emails, the WhatsApps. What was that like for you?
You know, I think they've sorted out all of their processes. It was just painless. And the guy that I was talking with, he wasn't really salesy. He wasn't really pushy. He was like, you know what? We want to get it done. We've got these dates. But I mean, he wasn't really nonchalant about it either. He was helpful and engaging when I needed him. But
was it by WhatsApp, by the way?
Yeah, WhatsApp. But I never felt like they were being pushy. But I was also surprised that they weren't really bothered about a deposit. Just turned up, paid cash. That was the only thing. That bothered me was that the best option was cash, because credit cards fee was like 8%. Transactions was, I can't remember why that was an issue, but I wasn't going to do the 8% on the amount I paid. Okay. And so I just took euros out there. Yeah.
So you actually paid all in cash on the day?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to tell you how the day went?
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the day, because you traveled, you arrived at the clinic. Did you have like a day out first, or you landed, you went to bed and bang?
No, I wanted to enjoy my time. I didn't want to feel like I was a chicken going through a factory, you know. So I booked a couple of days in advance, did some sightseeing, and I said to the clinic, forget it, I'm going to book my own hotel because I want to be where I want to be. I don't want to be dictated by their arrangements in hotels. So I was in town. I was in Karakoy Moda, a really cool place. Enjoyed the scene, restaurants, and a couple of days relaxing. And then on the day of the treatment, car pulls up. By the way, transport was still included, even though I didn't take the hotel. They picked me up from the hotel, from the airport to the hotel, and then turned up again on the day of the procedure. Actually, they turned up the day before, and I said, "It's not today, mate." So it was just driver's got.
So you turned up at the clinic, and they told you're a day early.
Yeah, well, the driver turned up. I said, "Mate, go check with your office. You're a day early." So
I'm really surprised that they turned you away, because with these clinics, their biggest fear is like you not showing up. So I think even if you turned up a day earlier, they must have. I would have thought they say something like, "We know what, we'll check that surgeon is finishing early. We might be able to squeeze you in today."
No, I had my plans for a couple of days. Anyway, I was in touch with the guy on WhatsApp, and there's another team that handles the transfers. I spoke to them. It was all fine. So the day arrived, and the shuttle service arrived, and got in the car and went to the clinic at crack of dawn. They receive you at the entrance, check in, and a few minutes waiting. Then I'll go up to the consultation room with the doctors on. And the
Were you, were
doctors.
you were you nervous? Were you nervous at this point, like the point of no return?
No, I think I was just. I was just a little bit indifferent about it. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go get it done.
Hmm.
No big deal. But I wasn't prepared for the actual procedure.
Yeah. So let's talk about the actual. I mean, you knew they were going to put holes
Yeah.
in your heads.
Yeah.
So what was the first hole when the first one in?
I was just going to tell you the consultation happens first, right? So you go up to the doctors, and then they line you up. They do the line, draw the line,
Yeah.
talk to you, and all that. Yeah, it's fine. Go downstairs, and then they take you down to a prep room before the theatres, where you're taking various meds beforehand. And there's an anti-anxiety medicine they offered me. I was like, I know, I'm not a fan of this. And they said, look, 95% of people take it. It's up to you. I was like, you know what? I popped it, and that's fine. So then they prepare you for the theatre, and then you go through this like clean room before the theatre. So it looks all really well managed. You know, they're taking health and safety seriously. Then you walk into the theatre. The theatre does look like an actual operating theatre, like a proper clean room. A few technicians mulling around, very busy. They know what they're doing, and they lie you down. You have an interpreter with you all this time. Once the interpreter sees you into the operating theatre, they're a bit in and out at that point. And so,
was this the surgeon, the actual surgeon that you met before that was doing the procedure, or was it a new surgeon that you've not seen before?
So there's technicians, then a couple of surgeons. One who comes in I think he does the extractions, and another one comes in to do the channels.
So two different surgeons with two different jobs.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I was quite.
Have you met these surgeons before?
The
consultation stage.
There were a lot of different people. They introduced themselves, you know.
Okay.
So I mean, there was loads of people in the whole operation is a bit of a field operation. Not in terms that it's out in sticks, but it's like a big operation, right? In terms of people doing their bits in the overall procedure.
And were there other patients on that day? Were the other theatres that were busy?
I think they had 4 or 6 operating theatres
booked at the same time.
And yeah, people would people going in and out all day. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I heard a figure of 20 a day.
Okay, 20 a day. Okay, yeah, that's a lot.
You're saying
tell me about the after you had the procedure and you were like really red and sore.
Do you want to go through the procedure first? So that was a bit of a shock.
Oh, the procedure. Yeah. Let's cover the procedure first. So the extraction and then the channel opening. So where does the pain start and where does the pain finish?
Immediately in the starts. When you're extracting, literally they're like it's like a drill that goes in around the follicle, and to extract it's like a really clever system that's doing that. Imagine that 4,000 times, right?
And this is done manually, yeah?
Yeah. But I could feel it going through the skin, and it was painful. It was painful because they were pulling at it, They still had to tug at it. And so they were injecting anesthesia, and at the back here, they started pulling, and it was painful. And I said, you need to, it's painful. They said, do you want more anesthetic? I said, yeah. So they put some more in. And then it takes a few minutes, and then it gets really numb. And at that point, I wasn't feeling it then. But then
when the second anesthetic went in.
Yeah, after the second went in. But so it was I feel the rawness when they were pulling it out. But eventually that died down. So you got to be prepared for that. And then
so that was the extraction. What about was there any pain with the second stage, with the channel opening and all that stuff?
I don't recall that being painful. So after the extraction, that's like a couple of hours because I had 4,000 grafts right around the side of that. Then it's lunchtime. They give you some lunch. You're still in your overalls, and then the doctor comes in to open the channels, and that's like 4,000 drill holes.
Was that less painful than the first stage, or more painful?
I think that was less painful. By the time I was like anesthetic type.
Yeah, really numbed up. Yeah. So all that, I mean, that must have taken, I'm guessing, all morning and maybe most of the afternoon. We're talking about 6-7 hours.
So, yeah, I think I was there for 7 hours. Yeah.
Wow, it's
on my back and then on the front. Yeah, it's not the best days I've had. But
And the pain when you left the surgery that night, and you did I think you do a washing regime and some antibiotics, right?
yeah, yeah. So you're not allowed to touch it or wash it yourself on the first wash, and that first not wash is next day. So anyway, so after the procedure, they patched me all up and put me in the car and sent me back to the hotel. Gave me a neck cushion not to rest my head on anything. I thought it was going to be a really uncomfortable night, but the neck cushion, the blow-up neck cushion, was really helpful. So I was able
Okay.
to have a decent night's sleep.
But then you can
Well,
only sleep on your back, right?
yeah, it was just like on my back, and I had to have slightly raised up, so I'm not touching the backboard or anything like that.
After that, it's a straight. You didn't hang around. It's straight flight back to the
No,
UK.
so the next morning you're back in the clinic for the wash, back in the car into the clinic, and they start teaching you how to wash it for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days is going to be when all the scab is around, and the first wash they do, and then they put the head band on, so then you're a bit more comfortable after that point.
Mm.
But I think the second day is when we start getting a bit of feeling back and feel like, oh, this is really sore. They give you painkillers just to take as a matter of course, and some what are they called? So you don't get an infection.
Antibiotics.
Antibiotics, yeah. So you take that, but to be honest, after that, I think I may have taken a painkiller after a couple of days, but it just seemed.
So the pain actually became manageable.
Yeah.
Say the next day.
A couple of days, it was like, oh shit, I've really done something here. But then we're fine. And then the following day, I was just thought, I'm going to go back home. And so I booked it the second day after the operation. Back on flight, back home, they give you a big hat. Good idea to wear that. You don't want to get any contaminants or anything like that, or bump your head anywhere. It's back home and just rested up for the next 10 days before I went back to work. And by that time, I'd washed off the scab, and your existing hair would be growing back by then. But
now there's most people when they get back from their procedure, the first couple of months they go through something called the ugly duckling phase. This is when all the grafts fall off and you look even worse than before the procedure. Did you go through that stage or?
Yeah, I was waiting for that, but the grafts never fell out as far as I could tell. Yeah, as far as I could tell. So but it took a while, maybe like 3 months before I actually started seeing some genuine growth on the head.
Okay. 3 months. Yeah. Still, that's really early. For most people, that's really early.
They tell me like 12 months with a full aesthetic appearance. It's month 7.
And when was it? What month was it that people started to notice and say, Faz, have you had some work done? What's going on with your hair?
Nobody's noticed it. Nobody I've noticed it. But family who know, friends, like, you know what, if you didn't tell me, I would not know.
Because the result is so natural. They've resisted the temptation. Remember, this is something we discussed before your procedure, that you have to resist the temptation to bring the hairline lower.
Yeah, you noted my hairline is a little bit higher, so this is like quite an age-appropriate hairline, right?
That's probably why a lot of people can't really tell if you had a procedure. They probably think maybe you put on some hair products and your hair grew back or something, or you took some vitamins or something like that.
Yeah. And so they do. I could tell in the graphs and the pattern straight after that the hairline was a more densely populated part of the operation.
They normally use like thinner hair on the hairline just to mimic the natural look. I suspect that's what they did for you. Of course, I haven't seen you close up, so I can't really tell 100%.
No, there was denser.
Sorry, your volume has gone down a bit. Have you got your?
Okay. So I could tell the hairline was more densely populated when they did it.
Okay, and let's talk about the because you are on a medication regime, hair loss medication regime. Can you just tell us what you're taking at the moment
So they tried to flog me some really expensive stuff, and I was in contact with you.
Never. Yeah.
And I remember what you said at the time. You said, like, get back to the UK and buy some robust, clinically proven stuff. And so I got online. I got this stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty good. And you were telling me that has made a massive difference to the crown.
Yeah. So I only got the front and the top done, not the crown. The crown was completely bored. And using this, and now month 7, you can see some growth back to the point where I'm like, I'm not bothered about getting them done now.
It's really interesting you say that, because a lot of people, like, I've done a lot of consultations, and I always say to people, if you have the choice to prioritize something, prioritize the front, because that's what's gonna make a difference to how you look. Now that's what you've done, and now the front is looking so good that you're not even bothered about getting the crown done.
No, like I said, like it was completely bored, and now on month 7, you could see some growth, right? There's coverage, and I'm just gonna keep sticking at it, see what it looks like in a year. If it still
And you
goes,
still have some grafts available to use on the crown if needed.
yeah, but I don't want to put myself through that again. To be honest, you're
Yeah,
laid up for a few days, and
yeah, yeah.
I'm not bothered about
I think it's worth seeing maybe another year,
it.
if you are bothered to go for it again. But in terms of how happy are you with the front, in terms of the results with the front?
I couldn't be happier, and I've
Yeah.
had a haircut a few times as well. This isn't like the actual length. Yeah, I can cut my
Oh,
hair. I've had to
that
do
is fantastic. Now, the $1 million question, actually $2 million questions. The first one is, if you could do this when you were like 30, 35, would you go back and do it, or are you happy with exactly when you've done it?
Well, yeah, like I said, at the time it wasn't. It was more of an unknown thing. But when I got it done, it was like quite mainstream. I don't know if I would have got it done then, because I was probably sold by the latest type of implants. What is it? The FUE, or the
Yeah,
individual.
FUE is when they do the plugs one at a time. Well, that is fantastic, man. I agree with you. I don't think you need to rush into doing the crown. I think you can grow it back definitely with the regime you're on at the moment. You're not taking any oral tablets or anything like that.
No, no, I didn't fancy doing that. This is topical. Just put it on the area, and I put it all over the hair as well, just to help the growth of the transplant as well.
Okay. And are you gonna dye it? Are you gonna dye it black or something?
Never done that. There's me, as you can see.
Yeah, it blends in with the beard.
Mm.
Okay, that's great. Now the other $1 million question is: are we going to that restaurant?
Yes, mate. What's happening? I need you to take me to the